It took me just 3 steps to go from being stuck in a 9 to 5 job to building a business generating £10,000 every single month in sales and having location freedom. And no, this wasn't down to luck, timing, or being a tech genius. In this video, I'll break down those 3 steps that changed everything for me. So these are the steps I wish somebody had told me earlier. So by the end, you'll know exactly how to build a business that gives you income and freedom, even if you're starting from zero. So let's get into it. And firstly, I'm going to explain the 3 steps. And it's my WIN method. So WIN. The WIN method is what I employ to get to the position I'm in today, recording this from Thailand and running my businesses from anywhere in the world. And those 3 letters, WIN, they stand for weekly routine, intentional tasks, and North Star. And I'm going to go through each of those. Now, the way that we implement them is actually backwards. So we start with N, then we go for I, then we do W. So I'll break that right down for you. So step 1 is to identify your North Star. Before we can do any of the actionable tasks, before we can understand which direction we're going in, we need to know what our North Star is, the guiding vision that's going to dictate all of the decisions we make and the actions we take between getting from where we are now to where we want to be. So when I was in a 9 to 5 job, I was working in a housing association, and to be honest, I felt completely stuck. And it took me a little while to work out what it was that I really wanted. So in that time, I was so vague that I didn't know what actions to take, and I was just wandering around aimlessly, listening to different podcasts, watching different YouTube videos, but never being crystal clear on what my ideal lifestyle looked like. And the problem with that, and I see it far too often, is that you start taking action before you're even clear on what you want. And so you'll be very sporadic in your action. You'll start and then you'll quit. You'll start something different and then you'll quit that. You'll decide that you're going to give something a try, but you never go all in because you don't know really if that's what you want to build, what type of business you want to build. And so it's a lot of time wasted, and it takes a lot longer for you to achieve anything when you're just dabbling in different things. You have to go all in on something. So for me, everything changed when I got crystal clear on my North Star and I defined the lifestyle that I was building towards. So the lifestyle I was building towards, you can break down into 3 specific areas. So firstly, it was how much money I needed, and I do that in a monthly fashion. So I decided that my life was going to change as soon as I was able to generate 10k a month in sales from an online business. The second thing was all about where I'd like to be. And for me, my ideal lifestyle was all about traveling full time and being able to travel on my own terms and go home back to the UK on my own terms and be able to earn money no matter where I was in the world. And the third thing, the third aspect, is what a perfect day looked like for me. And I was always vague on this, but I got really clear and realized that a big part of what I wanted to do was to impact people with helping people to understand there's a different way out of a 9 to 5 job, and the way that we're given as a traditional path doesn't have to be the way for everyone. So I knew I wanted that to be a large part of my work, to really help people to use entrepreneurship as a vehicle to better their lives. So that's what I do now with my coaching through the Dropship Unlocked and also my own community. And also I understood that I wanted to travel, I wanted to explore the world, and I wanted to have experiences, because I'm big into understanding that we get one chance, and I wanted to make the most of that chance. So every day had to involve some kind of experience or traveling or being somewhere in the world that I was excited to wake up. So that was what I built for myself. That gave me direction when I had nothing and I was starting from scratch. It gave me a direction to push towards. And so I stopped chasing these random ideas that would come to my mind, and I focused on building a business that matched my ideal life. So action this is the action for you from step 1, is to write down your North Star. So in those 3 areas, so income, lifestyle, and routine. What money do you make? Where are you? And what does your average day look like? And the more specific you are, the better, because clarity will create action, and with action, you'll get to that position. So that's step 1, understand your North Star. Step 2 is the I in the WIN method. And this is all about starting to take or do complete intentional tasks. So it's all about working with intention rather than just doing busy work. So once you know that North Star, this is why it's crucial to do that first. You now know the direction you're heading. So now we need to take ruthless action and ruthless focus on the most important tasks. So for me, when I was starting my business, I got this wrong initially because I was spending way too much time doing busy work and spending too much time building a website, or too much time making a business plan, and too much time thinking about the products I was going to sell. And it all held me back to make things slower for me. So I needed to understand what was going to be the success equation. Now, no matter what business you're in, no matter what business you choose to start if you haven't started yet, there will be a success equation. And the success equation is, what are the inputs, the actions that you take that directly lead to the outputs and the money that your business generates. And you need to understand this success equation, because as soon as you know what are the actual actions that lead to the money and the value that's provided by your business, then you'll be able to pull that lever on the inputs to do as much of those inputs as possible to generate as much of the outputs. And this is not as easy as it sounds. It took me way too long to realize what were the most important actions in my business. Because if you're trying to run a business now, perhaps alongside a 9-to-5 job, you'll understand that when you get started, there is endless possibilities of different actions you can take. So it's up to us to choose the ones that are going to make the most difference. And that's not always easy to see. So you need to start looking at your business and start thinking, what are the actions that actually lead to results? And if you've seen some results already, look at what are the actions that you took in order to see those results previously, so you can know which actions to take more of. And think about what were the key inputs that really produced the sales or the growth or the momentum that you've seen so far in your business. So for my example, I started running my e-commerce business a few years ago, and I identified, and I was taught this through a coaching program, the Dropship Unlocked, that I jumped into. It was all about signing suppliers, adding products, and optimizing the ads that I was running. So I had a crystal clear focus on those 3 tasks being the most important ones to follow. So that was the case for e-commerce, but no matter what business you run, there'll be some tasks that are the ones that essentially make everything else unnecessary, because they're the tasks that really drive the needle and generate the income for you. So yeah, for me, this is why I always go on about community and mentorship, because it was community and mentorship that taught me the most important tasks. And so I always talk about this now, and that's why I built my own free community, and I help people to find the intentional tasks that they should be focused on. So I'll show you that now. I'm here now inside my free Relentless Code community to show you how you can identify the tasks that are going to make the difference for your business. I've created a resource here inside the classroom called the Focus Blueprint. And inside this Focus Blueprint, I've got a video showing you through how to use this Focus Blueprint Google Doc or the PDF blueprint. And with this document, you can understand and work through to identify the actions that really lead to the goals that you want. And it's all been laid out. Work through it with me, and by the end of it, you'll know exactly the actions you need to take, no matter where you're at, to make the difference in growing your business. So check that out, and I look forward to helping you out with that inside the community. So that's steps 1 and 2 complete. We're now on to the final 3rd step to change the direction of your life, and that is the W in the WIN method, and that's to understand your weekly routine. You've now got a North Star that you're aiming for. You know the tasks that are going to be most important. It's now a case of building the structure to get those tasks completed consistently over time that will get you to that North Star that you've got set out. So for me, in my own life, I was working a 9-to-5 job, so I had a very restricted time on when to work on my business, because 40 hours of the week I was at my job. There's also commuting time outside of that as well, and all of the other things that you do as well in your life. So I had less time to be able to find time to build a business alongside a job. But there was time that I could find, and there'll be time that you can find in your schedule as well. So what I needed to do was create some non-negotiable time blocks for me to work on something. So the way I did this was I looked at, there was a lot of dead time in my weekly schedule that could be replaced with more important tasks and working on my goals. So for example, when I used to wake up before I started a business, the first thing I would do would be to scroll my phone and scroll social media. And I knew that was wasted time, where I'm already awake, but I'm not actually getting on with anything useful. I'm not even waking up. I'm not even showering or having breakfast. I'm just scrolling my phone. And that was time I identified. I also looked at some time at the end of the day and realized that my screen time is like 3 or 4 hours. Do I need to have that much screen time? A lot of it was at the end of the day, whether it's watching YouTube or whether it's watching, the screen time on your phone would be YouTube. But then if you're watching Netflix on your TV, then that's also screen time. And it's just things that I knew was dead time, and I didn't need to spend so much time doing that sort of thing. And all you need to do is cut out 1, maybe 2 hours in your day out of this dead space that you're now going to dedicate to working on those intentional tasks that you've already set aside. So I created these deep work blocks after reading a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. It's brilliant. And I knew that every single day I'd do at least 1 or 2 hours of work on my goals. And that was set in stone as something that I couldn't negotiate on. I had to do that. So normally for me, it worked well for me in the morning. Before I got up and left to go to work, I'd work on one task, which usually took me about an hour before work. And I wouldn't stop until I finished that task. Of course, until I needed to go to work, but I'd make sure that was done. So your action point from this step is to look at your week, identify the dead time that you can remove distractions, and fit in 1 or 2 hours per day into your schedule for you to work on these goals. Now, if that sounds difficult to you, if you're starting to think that you're not going to be able to find that time, then welcome to the world of business alongside a 9-to-5 job. You have to get good at identifying time blocks that you can work on. Otherwise, you'll always just have dreams and you'll never be able to act on them. Ultimately, action is going to trump everything, and you have to do action consistently in order to get results. So find time and stick to that time as non-negotiable time blocks. So to summarize, that is the WIN method. And I help people inside the Relentless Code community to implement this 3 steps to go from stuck in a job to generating a business with 10K a month. And I've done it myself, and I know how to teach you to do it as well inside the free community. So jump in if you're interested. So to recap those 3 steps: North Star, intentional tasks, and weekly routine. And we do it in that order. So you get clear on what you want, you ruthlessly focus on what drives results, and then you design your schedule so that success will happen automatically over time. The truth is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you'll fall to the level of your systems. So you need to get structure, systems in place in order for you to attain the goals that you've got. So make your system one that leads you to automatic success, and let me know how you get on. Look forward to seeing your thoughts on this video in the comments or inside the community, and I'll catch you in the next video.